Very much for clapping for us. Asante sana. That's more like it. That's not like it. We want to, just a snippet. We've been challenged by Konza Technologies to sing a song about Konza technology. The best I can remember and try is this one. Kakale, oh kakale, oh kakale, kasambu kasembete. Kakale, oh kakale, kasambu kasembete. Kakale kamumise mazako, kandoite ilo wingo na nena na nawa. Kakale. That is the first Kamba song to come from Machakos Junction to Nairobi. Wapi makofi ya professor. Sasa naomba kitu moja. I think we probably had a very long day yesterday. The session took long, we finished late. So obviously everything else followed late. We had dinner late, we slept late, and again woke up late. From where I come from, we probably have a way of waking people up. We wake people up by the sound of the cockerel. And I want to just ask, we just be upstanding kidogo, we do a small snippet, then you will be energized for the day. It's a very small session. We want to do a song called Mwanawamberi. Mwanawamberi simply means the firstborn. Because we are here first, let us be upstanding kidogo, to stretch to kidogo, ndio tuanze session kama tumechangamuka. Yeah.
Voila.
Just stretch kidogo. We are not going to overstrain you because we don't know how long the sessions will take. Just kidogo, tuna stretch. Nyosha mikono kidogo namna hii. Aya, nyuma kidogo namna hii. If you hear anything snapping, see a doctor. Have you heard anything? Aya, na huku mbele inama namna hii kabisa. Umesikia kitu ikilia ngok? Then we are safe. Don't try this at home. Let's go. Unaanza na mabega. You start with your shoulders. Mabega namna hii.
Ambi mulole bakusundanga liseba. Ambi mulole bakusundanga liseba.
Abaduko.
Ambi mulole bakusundanga liseba.
Abaduko.
Ambi mulole bakusundanga liseba.
Aya. Inua mikono ya right. Ambia neighbor wako high five tena. Namna hiyo. Na unageuka. Haya. Mguu ya kulia.
Mwanawamberi wayaye. Mwanawamberi wayaye go. Mwanawamberi nishekorero. Mwanawamberi wayaye. Mwanawamberi wayaye go. Mwanawamberi nishekorero. Etitula totwa mwakula. Mwanawamberi ubikumwiha. Mwanawamberi nishekorero. Etitula totwa mwakula. Mwanawamberi ubikumwiha. Mwanawamberi nishekorero.
Aya.
Mwanawamberi nishekorero.
Aya, mikono yote mbele namna hii.
Mwanawamberi.
Mikono mbili yote.
Mwanawamberi nishekorero.
Mikono yote mbili mbele.
Mwanawamberi nishekorero.
Tayari? We are moving to the left. Are we ready?
Mwanawamberi nishekorero.
Tunaenda to the left. Left.
Usana kweli barabati.
Enakuzigura.
Usana kweli barabati.
Enakuzigura.
Yabakana.
Enakuzigura.
Yabakana.
Enakuzigura.
Usana kweli barabati.
Enakuzigura.
Haya, rudia mguu.
Mwanawamberi nishekorero. Mwanawamberi. Mwanawamberi nishekorero.
Hii ni ngumu kidogo.
Mwanawamberi. Mwanawamberi nishekorero.
Unashika hapa.
Mwanawamberi.
Unashika hapa.
Mwanawamberi.
Alafu unashika hapa tumbo. Haya, zunguka. Haya, mguu tena.
Mwanawamberi na kosti.
Mwanawamberi.
Na kosti ya mama.
Mwanawamberi nishekorero.
Mwanawamberi wagaye.
Mwanawamberi.
Wageni wote.
Mwanawamberi nishekorero.
Chama kutaka mwakura.
Mwanawamberi.
Wakumwiha.
Mwanawamberi nishekorero.
Chama kutaka mwakura.
Mwanawamberi.
Mikono mbele.
Mwanawamberi nishekorero.
Mwanawamberi wa baba.
Teremuka.
Mwanawamberi.
Wa mama
Chini.
wote.
Mwanawamberi nishekorero.
Mwanawamberi na Ivasha.
Mwanawamberi.
Nyumbani home.
Mwanawamberi nishekorero.
Clap for yourselves. Clap for yourselves. Now we are ready. We have warmed up. Some of you have seen some professors dance here. It's as if they have not danced in about 7 academic years. Wakina Some hawa, I have not seen these people this active for a long time. They are normally very serious behind those glasses. That is the joy of Kenyan African music. And we are not liable for any damages should you get any muscle strain. We were just doing our job. Karibu sana.
Good morning. Good morning, all of you. We want to request that kindly just, if there's an empty chair ahead of you, kindly move at least one step ahead so that we have most of you in front. Now, quickly, we want to start our program today, and my business is to introduce the chair of the session, Professor Mabel Ibuka. I don't think I'll labor to introduce who she is. You've already met her from yesterday, and from there she'll actually lead us in the next session. Karibu sana, Professor. And then you'll be able to invite your panel to come on the high table.
Good morning. I thought we would start with the prayers. With prayers, we start with them every day. Nakosti, who is our Archbishop, and they can pray for us, then now we start off.
Let me invite Lilian Awala, come and pray for us so that we quickly move on. Kindly come, very fast, because we don't want to waste a single minute.
Yes, so that we can start off well.
Okay, let us pray. Our dear Heavenly Father, we come before your presence this morning, thanking you for the gift of life and for the gift of good health. We thank you, dear Lord, even for this new day. We pray that as we start our sessions, Lord, that you will guide us, that you will give us a fruitful day. We bless you and we honor you. In Jesus' name I do pray and believe.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Amen. Thank you so much, Lilian. We ambushed you, but you've done a good job. Thank you so much. So, Prof.
Okay, thank you. So I will invite the panel for this morning to come, starting off with Professor Emmanuel Mutisia. Kindly come forward. And then we also have a representative of Professor Tom Kariuki. Do you have someone representing Professor Tom Kariuki? He was here. Tom Kariuki has already given. Then who is the second person? Do we have Engineer Margaret Ogai with us? Representative of Margaret, yeah, okay. Yeah, feel most welcome, come forward. You'll tell us your names later, yes. And then we also have Mr. Douglas Odhiambo, the Deputy Director, Strategy and Planning, Social Health, SHA, who will be online. So I think we are really scattered. So if it's possible for us to move forward, it will be very good so that we can start together. You don't have to sit where you sat yesterday. You can sit, there are many seats in front. And you know, we now have to move from Mwana Amberi now to seriousness. Mwana Amberi, you know, is a national anthem, a traditional national anthem, because everybody knows it, and it's good, used for energizing. So now we are well energized. We have burnt a bit of glucose, and now our brains are ready for this morning. So before we start, just say a high five to the person seated next to you so that you are aware of who you are seated next to. It is always good to be aware of who is your neighbor, yeah? Very important, yeah? Okay, so this morning we are continuing with the theme of Nakosti, and we are very happy to start the day off. Today is Tuesday, the second day, and we are going to start off with Mr. Douglas Odhiambo, who is the Deputy Director, Strategy and Planning, Social Authority. And all of us should really be ready to listen to him so that now we can delete all the misinformation that we have on SHA and accept it as one of the national the organizations that is really helping us with our health system. So I don't know who is going to help us to put Mr. Douglas Odhiambo online. And Douglas Odhiambo has, yes, can we see his face? Who is helping us to put Odhiambo online? Because they said we start with him. Ah, there you are. Wonderful. So can you hear us? You can start by introducing yourself. Oh, they are on top, eh? But I wish we could hear him before I sit down. Odhiambo, can we hear you? Habari ya leo? Volume, put volume. Is it us or is it you? You are all anxious to hear from him, isn't it? Because you are all contributing towards SHA. Who is not contributing to us, SHA? We want to see who are the defaulters. Yeah? Who is not contributing? Yeah? So we all are, the one who is in charge of our contributions, and we want to see what the benefits are and how we can improve it. But the sound is not helping us a lot, but we'll keep trying out. So as we wait for that, you know, NACOSTI is basically science-oriented, but we also embrace social science. So I will ask you today, what did you have for your breakfast? What did you like the most on your breakfast dish? Eh? Did anyone eat fish? Oh, so we are going to have such a dull day. Because you know fish has what we call, there are 3 omegas. You know the omegas? Eh? Omega-3, omega-6, omega-9. There is also omega-12. Those ones keep you alert. Has it come? So those ones keep you alert. Let me tell you, some years back, they used to downgrade the people from around Lake Victoria because they would all end up getting A's and A's, eh? So they thought there was leakage. But there was not any leakage. It was just the feeding on omegas, 3, 6, 9, and 12. So if you are not a fishmonger, you better start. Okay, are you online now, Odhiambo?
Yes, I'm online.
We are very happy to hear from you. This is the NACOSTI conference, and you can see the participants are ready to listen to you. So feel most welcome. You start off by introducing yourself so that we can know you more. Thank you and welcome. The floor is yours now. You have about 15 minutes.
Can you hear me? Hello?
Hello, we can hear you. We can hear you loud and clear. And
Okay,
we
thank
can
you very much.
Yes.
My name is Douglas Odhiambo Wino, Deputy Director, Planning and Linkages, Social Health Authority. Allow me first to say good morning to everyone, and again to pass the apologies of my CEO, Dr. Masi Mwangangi, who is having some other official engagement which she could not avoid. So she has passed apologies, and you have to bear with us. Thank you very much. Just a presentation to share. So I don't know how we can allow me to upload it. Can you enable me to upload? I'm trying to upload,
Stephen, is there
but
someone
I
helping
think
us
I need to be
upload?
enabled.
Yeah, the IT gurus. It is you to share with us. They're saying
I've
it's you
sent
to
to
share with
Caroline.
us. Eh?
And give the IT to upload it. Caroline.
Yeah, you can probably be telling us what the title of your presentation is as we wait.
I've sent to Caroline to give the IT to upload.
Or the IT here in this conference hall? Or is it Caroline in your place? You know, we have many Carolines in this conference. Yeah.
From your side, you're able to.
Sorry?
Is it your
Is
side
it enabled?
or our
Can I
side?
upload?
From your side.
Douglas,
Yes.
from your side, you should be able to share.
I've shared with Caroline if she can give you to upload.
You should be able to share your screen from your side.
Yeah. Yeah, share the screen. You know, we have many IT gurus here, like the chair of council of JKU. Yeah, so let us be patient as we wait. And the backbenchers, you don't like sitting at the front. Look at these benches here. They are all empty. And you know, starting from here, there is something that I'm very happy about this morning. You know what it is? I think ladies, we are making now nearly 40%. From what I can see, the ladies are making 40%. So in the next NACOSTI meeting, we should be 50, isn't it? Or even more. So Mr. Odhiambo, we are still waiting for your presentation. You know, that's why I always advise the young people, even if you are going to have your PowerPoint, always have a hard copy with you. Yeah? So if we had hard copies of that presentation, it would just be presenting and we flip the pages
I've shared
over.
the presentation with Caroline. There's a problem.
And I was asking, is it Caroline in Shah or Caroline in NACOSTI in this room?
NACOSTI.
Okay, NACOSTI, they are saying you have the presentation. Kindly put it on. Yeah, I can see them pointing that they are working on it. Yes. In fact, his 15 minutes are nearly finished. Yeah? And you know, you can start talking. You know, hearing sometimes is more powerful than visual. Yeah, so Mr. Douglas Odhiambo, you can be presenting, then we will flash through the slides.
So I can start, eh?
Yes, kindly start, then the slides will follow the presentation. Yeah. Feel most welcome.
Okay, thank you very much. So the chair can start.
Yeah, please proceed.
Hello. Odhiambo, are we together?
Yes, we are together. I can start,
Yeah,
eh?
you can start because you know it is also supposed to be a dialogue, eh? Yeah. So just
Thank you
start
very
off.
much.
Yeah, thank you.
Yes, thank you. So I'm going to be very brief. This is just a short preview of what is currently happening and what we are doing. Can we move to the next slide, kindly? Yeah, so I just want to take you through how we are applying technology to drive UHC. That is just our vision statement, being a reliable financier of affordable UHC in Kenya, universal healthcare in Kenya. And the mission statement is to offer comprehensive, equitable, and sustainable health insurance through pooling and efficient management of resources by leveraging on technology and innovation. Next slide. Yes, you are aware that SHA came into existence with the enactment of the Social Health Insurance Act. And out of SHA, we have 3 funds. This primary health care fund, we have the Social Health Insurance Fund, we have the Emergency, Chronic, and Critical Illnesses Fund. The primary health care fund is funded by the Exchequer, that is from the taxes. And this one takes care of level 2, 3, and selected level 4s. And so long as you are registered with SHA, it's a walk-in, walk-out, even before you start the contributions. The next fund is SHIF. This is where it's contributory fund, where we get deducted as an employees, the statutory deductions, or informal sector, the 2.75% per the household, in terms of the households contributions. Then we have the Emergency, Chronic, and Critical Illness Fund, ECCF. This is also funded by Exchequer and takes care of chronic issues, emergency, evacuations, and of course long-term illnesses like the cancer and all that. All these are meant to drive UHC within the framework of SHA. Next slide. I just want to emphasize that you are aware about the government agenda, the better agenda. UHC is one of the key main agenda of the government. And of course, we are mandated to drive it. Next slide. Our mission is to achieve complete coverage of Kenyan population. What I mean is that everyone must be onboarded, should be onboarded in SHA, registered in terms of being registered in SHA. Again, we are supposed to enhance accessibility, inclusivity of high quality essential healthcare interventions. On the other hand, we need to bolster financial risk protection for all Kenyans, with particular attention to the vulnerable demographics. And finally, we need to guarantee the sufficiency of health resources for the effective delivery of healthcare services, among other objectives. Next slide. Now, just to take you to our core mandate, in terms of registrations, contracting of healthcare providers, claims management, and of course to administer the essential benefit package. All these, we have deployed technology. We are targeting to register this year 12.7 million households. That is as per the population projections, which means that if you can cover the 12.7 M households, then it means that we should have covered the whole country. And we have deployed technology, which I'll take you through how we are doing it. Again, we are contracting facilities to offer these services. Of course, we are also using technology, that is e-contracting. In terms of claims, again, we are using technology to process claims management. And finally, we have embedded the essential benefit package in the system for ease of access. Next slide. And in terms of customer care, we are fully automated and digitized. We have a customer care experience center. And of course, if you dial 147, you'll actually be served very well in terms of your queries and all that. Next slide. We have a platform called the Afyango platform that is meant to help us register and manage member registrations. Apart from that, we have client registry portal for assisted registrations. We have people who cannot do it on their own, then we help them register. Now, that platform, we have a self-care platform, the USSD interface, that is *147#. Just for your information, 47 stands for 47 counties, 1 stands for 1 country. So we have 47 counties in one nation. So it's symbolic, that's *147#. So you cannot forget it. Now, as we speak now, we can monitor real-time registrations. As of yesterday evening, that is 27 hours, we had done 23,389,172. The number is real-time, it keeps on increasing. Next slide. Of course, we have also web platforms. We have the web self-registrations. Of course, Afya Yangu is a web-based platform. We proceed. So under Afya Yangu platform, you can access simplified medical records management. It's meant to help us in medical records management, insurance tracking, health monitoring. It can seamlessly organize healthcare data for appointments. It can also do that. Of course, it has also details of insurance covers. Next slide. In terms of claims management, we have deployed technology to process claims electronically. One of them is called PAT ERP for paying electronic claims emanating from the payer system. Next. In terms of revenue management, of course, we are also doing it. We have also deployed a system to manage revenue, and we also have the medical cover for public officers. Of course, we also developed a system to manage that as well. Next. The other aspect of mean testing, especially for the informal sector, you have to determine on your own what you should pay. So we have a system that is used for mean testing. Next slide. As we speak, we have a total of 5,347,955 that individuals that have done mean testing. On average, they are paying 591 per month. Then we have also deployed a new way to assist people to pay pole pole. It's called Lipa Pole Pole. So for you to enroll for Lipa Pole Pole, you dial *147# and follow the prompts. It allows people who are not able to raise the required amount at once to keep on paying in small bits. Next. This is how to access our health benefits. Just go to the next slide. We have contracted 8,939 facilities through e-contracting. Previously, the contracting will take even 30 days plus, but because of the electronic contracting, the providers, healthcare providers, just need about 10 to 15 minutes to do self-contract. And of course, they are all connected and offering services. As we speak, the claims volume number is around 3,195,565, and the total claims admitted to us for processing is 71 billion. We have paid out of that, we have paid 43 billion as of June. Next. Now, way forward, we have a system, we have a new initiative called Taifa Care. Taifa Care is among the initiatives, among USC initiatives. It's supposed to integrate all the systems. We have so many systems, payer system, claim system, Afya Yangu and all that. This is supposed to be centralized in a platform to manage patient data, claims, and other healthcare-related information. So this is what Taifa Care is meant to do. That is all for now. Thank you.
So, Odhiambo, stay on, because this is supposed to be a dialogue. So, we expect probably, since you are online, we'll finish with you first. If there are any questions from the audience, they ask you and you respond. And we know that SHA is very important. In fact, it's one of the key pillars of the better current administration priorities. So all these people who are here may have some questions, so we shall just pick a few. Mine being the first one, you talked about, the one I remember is the pole pole mode of payment, isn't it? Odhiambo, can you hear us? Odhiambo, can you hear us? Goodness. Put your nini on, put your... Are you hearing us?
I can hear you.
You can hear us, eh? Yeah.
Yes, please.
So I'm starting off with the first questions and expect some from the audience, eh? So you stay on.
Correct.
Yeah, the first one I was asking is, SHA is very important and we all support it. You talked about the pole mode of payment, isn't it?
Yes.
For people who are not able to raise the funds, eh?
Yes.
Yes, so now I'm asking for them to access you, they will need some bundles or airtime. Eh? How are you taking care of that, especially the people who have a phone but probably they cannot even afford airtime to reach you or to do anything? So you'll answer that or you take several?
I'll take several.
Okay, do you have any questions, members? Because this is the time you have to clear your mind from any misinformation you might be having. Because we have been told about SHA and SHIF and all those, yeah, and what they cover. Do you have any questions, members? It was a lot of information all at a go, eh? Yeah. Where is, yes? And any other question, members? How many people have benefited? Probably you can give him also a feedback.
Thank you, Madam Chair. To Mr. Odhiambo, how do you register those who can?
I cannot hear that. Can you come close to the microphone?
How do you register? Almost close to.
How do you?
How do you register those who cannot handle the computers and anything else?
Okay.
Can the chair repeat that question for me? Because it's like I can't hear very well.
Okay. How do you handle the people who cannot access computers and the others? How do they register? Rose, is that how you asked?
Yes, yes.
Yes. You got that one? The second one?
Can you repeat that question? How do you register?
Rose, can you repeat it?
How do you register
Because
those?
I can't hear. I think it's very away from the microphone, a bit away.
No, she's very close to the microphone. She's very close. It's probably your end.
Maybe, Chair, you
Yes,
can repeat for him.
Okay, repeat, then I will repeat it again.
How do you handle those who cannot register using the computer or mobile phones?
Okay.
Did you hear that?
Odhiambo, did you hear it? Let's get the second one. We must have had it. Any other? Yes, right at the corner. And even those who have benefited.
Yes. So I can take another one, then I handle 3.
Okay, thank you, Chair. My question is, how you talked about testing or mean testing. How do you determine how much an individual pays or household? Thank you. I didn't understand the process of testing.
Did you get it, Odhiambo? The process
Correct.
of testing, yeah? The last one? Well, I think, Odhiambo, you can take those ones. Yeah.
Thank you, Chair. You asked a question about Lepa Pole Pole.
Yes.
Lepa Pole Pole initiative was launched by His Excellency the President during the last Holy Madaraka Day official launch. And it is meant to assist. You know, we have people with the income is not regular. Maybe one day you go to a mjengo, you get some cash flow, the next day you don't have it. So we need also to prioritize our health. So it helps you, if you get that money, at that time you get it, you can be able to pay that at that time. So that at least you can catch up with your premiums. Now, you are asking how to access it without a bundle of airtime. No, we are talking about technology. Of course, you need some bit of airtime, but not a lot. It's a very short process using USSD. It should not even take you more than 5 minutes, which means that even a credit of 5 bob should be able to help you do that. So it's not a lot of money, but it's about technology. We cannot have another shortcut because you have to do it through the phone. So that's the clarity about it.
Yes, but
Now-
while we are on
Yes.
while we are on that one, you know, sometimes with the telephones, there are free lines where you can call without any money. There used to be free toll and free what lines, eh? Is there a way you can start something like that for these people who cannot, so that they don't pay the 5 bob to pay their money?
That is good feedback, which I'll take to our technical team to look at that, because these things are subject to continual improvement. They're not cast on stone. So, and that's why we are having this kind of dialogue, so that any feedback that we get that is good for the country, then we take it. So I'll pass that feedback.
Okay, thank you. The second.
How we can ensure that even people without airtime who cannot access bundle can be able to live a pole without incurring any extra cost. So I've taken note of that. I'll pass that feedback. Because they are supposed to do it on your own. The person paying must take charge of whatever is paying. How do you handle those who cannot register without a computer or mobile? In my slide, I talked about assisted registrations. We have been doing it with the support of CHPs, community health promoters. You are aware that they were given some gadgets, yet they are able to register even people without phones, you see, without the computers. They can register them. In fact, working with Safaricom, they have been able to whitelist those gadgets, which means that those gadgets can access the system without any bundles or airtime, those CHPs. So they have been facilitated. That's why the numbers keeps on increasing every day. Actually, on average, we register almost 50 to 60,000 people on average per day. So it is possible. So if somebody has a challenge to register, they can actually step into SHA offices, formerly NHIF offices. They'll be assisted to register. They can also locate any nearest CHP to register them, because they're also walking around, so that's possible. Means testing. How do you determine what to pay? In that mean testing system, there are parameters which you pick. There are questions that you'll be prompted to tick in terms of your socio-economic status. So based on what you've chosen, then the amount will calculate automatically to tell you how much you pay. People have been paying as low as 300 in terms of whatever they check based on their socio-economic status. Any other question?
Yeah, there is one more question. That's
Back to
the
you,
last
Chair.
one. Yeah, from Professor Micheka. And it's the last question. Yes, Prof. No, the mic has just reached you. It's next to you.
John, really, thank you very much for a very nice explanation. John, let me ask you really, personal almost. Such an important meeting like where we are now here in Naivasha, where you would tap a lot of people with questions you are now answering over there, and you can't give your telephone number to every one of us to answer. You missed here, you should even have sent somebody to be with us. I registered, paying every month, and I'm being called a John, whom I am not, and I have nobody to look to help. Under such circumstances, what do? I am not John. I pay like 500 every month. I don't see my name, and I can't use SHA. And you didn't send anybody here to even represent you, answer these basic questions in a fairly remote part of Nairobi. You didn't follow. Maybe you can rephrase it. Chair.
Yes. Actually, we are disappointed. You should have been here because, you know, it's easier. Like we have waited 30 minutes trying to make the system work, but all the same, we do support you. And next time, I think you are invited by Nakosti. These are people that you can even pick their brains and in all sorts of ways. And they support you with feedback and with many things. So physical appearance sometimes is very, very important in a big conference like this one, which is key, a key driver to science and technology in Kenya. Yeah, so you can answer his question about being called John, and yet he's not John, and he's contributing.
Somebody being called John and you are not John.
Yes.
And you are contributing.
Yes.
I'll suggest that we are practical, not hypothetical situations. If there's a case whereby somebody...
It's not, by the way, it is a true situation. He has it even on his phone. So probably you can think about it and then now give feedback, because it has happened to one person here in this conference room. So you don't brush it off. It is actually happening. And that is the one who has come up to tell you. And since it is a new system, you want to clear certain things that feedbacks, isn't it? So you take that as a positive feedback and check, is it possible to happen, and how can you avoid it, or how can you correct it? Because it's personal.
Thank you, Chair. I'm not brushing it off. What I'm saying,
yes.
What I'm trying to say is that in case of any error,
yes,
we need to have that real situation. Then we can diagnose what the problem is, because even systems have challenges.
Yes.
It happens, yes. So I'm not brushing it off. And first, I apologize that I'm not there in person. In fact, there's a lot of information that we need to share in this kind of a platform. And one of the key institutions that we need to collaborate with is NACOSTI in terms of research and technology. And I'll be reaching out to NACOSTI soon. Yes. So that we can share whatever we are doing in terms of research. We have a lot of data. We can see what we can do in terms of informing our systems, improvements, and even better our services. So in terms of that era of somebody being called a name which is not yours in the system, I want to say that it could happen, and it can happen not only with our system, but other systems. So in case you notice something like that, then kindly share with us, then we can see the root cause and we rectify it. And if it has happened to somebody in this conference, we'll pass our apology and reach out immediately after this so that we can correct that.
Okay, do you have a number like, is it star, a number, hash, where someone can report a mistake like that?
Yes, you just dial, I said you dial 147.
147. It was star 147 hash.
Not hash. Just dial the number 147.
Oh, that's it.
For the star 147 hash, it's about registrations.
Okay.
Then it will prompt you to the next steps.
Okay.
But for reporting certain incidents or getting inquiries from our customer care, just dial 147.
Okay. Yeah.
Yes,
thank you for that clarification.
But again, yes, but again, if in case of something that for this kind of a conference, in case you have some issues that need urgent attention for now, that need my personal attention, my number is 0722 421
0722
421 604.
604.
Correct.
That is an office number, or it come to your personal
my personal. I'm giving my personal.
Yeah, that is personal.
So that I can, yes, I can pick some issues directly.
In case we'll clog your phone with many messages, do you have another number, like an office line?
Just use that one. I will be able to handle. I've handled quite a lot before.
Okay.
So I've handled quite a lot of engagements with providers the whole country.
Yes.
When we're doing the e-contracting,
and
I gave them my number and my email, I was able to handle their queries and fix the issues that were coming up. So you're just a small number, I'll be able to handle.
Thank you very much. We are happy. We want to see you leave the screen with a smile. Can we clap for him? Yeah? Thank you very much. And we support you. You are doing a wonderful job taking care of us. Our health system, health is important. If you don't have healthy people, then the nation cannot run. So you are very important, and we do appreciate. But next time we have a conference like this, kindly appear in person. Yeah? Yes, so that you can interact over a cup of tea. You know, the information you pass over a cup of tea is the one that enters the head. Yeah. Thank you very much, and have a blessed day. Yeah.
Thank you too. Thank you too.
Okay. Yeah.
we keep on engaging.
Okay, thank you. Yeah. So you can sign off, or you want to stay to listen? Yeah. Okay, so now we'll have the next, we have two more speakers, and you know this is a dialogue. So with that, you have to have more questions. So we are going to have the next speaker, who is Professor Emmanuel Mutisia. He's the chairman of Council of Kenya ICT, and he's one of the very young chairmen of councils that we have. Very young. Wait, I have not finished my story. Yeah? He's very, very young, and we are very proud of him because he's a seasoned project manager in terms of sustainability. He's a specialist researcher in education matters. He's a strategist. You know, those are the key things that people look for. Eh? He's a strategist in international development, in design of skills, development management. He's an education advisor, office of the president. And he has also been the chairperson of GESCI board of directors of African Development Bank. He was there. And he also has an excellent record, listen to this, in designing, formulating, implementing, and monitoring platforms. That is the whole value chain of what we would like to do. Yeah? So he's also an alumni of Egerton University. I wish he was also a alumni of JKU Art. So can we give him some few claps as he comes to present his, feel most welcome. Yeah.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Chair, Prof. I didn't know that you had that profile with you. My name again is Emmanuel Mutisia, and as the chair said, I am the chairperson of the Kenya Advanced Institute of Science and Technology, which is the newest university in town, located in Konza Technopolis, where Professor Munavo is a chair, and where we work closely together in advancing science, technology, and innovation for development in our country. Because this was a dialogue, as Professor Mabela said, I did come here to engage with you in areas of research and science and technology and innovation, and the impact that us in IPs, intellectual property protection, intellectual property rights, and how we need to link that with the health sector and also with the housing sector, two sectors that are the cornerstone of the bottom-up economic transformation agenda. I think we all know, and given that we are here as scientists, we all know that IPR and IP protection is critical, for research, technology, and innovation, because this incentivizes investment, fosters creativity, and allows investors to control their creations and to control their innovations. So in this, effective protection and monetization of IPs is important, because then it motivates scientists, researchers, and innovators to continue, driving that kind of research so that they can come up with innovations that are critical to driving our development to the next level. We must know this, that now the countries that are going to take us to the next level of development will be driven, or are being driven, or led by innovations. And if we do not protect those innovations, it is going to be very difficult for us to utilize the same and drive our development in this country. But before we get into that, it is important to turn ourselves as a country from being, consumers of innovations, and that is where we are today. Even before we start now thinking of producing our own, we move from being consumers, consuming from what China produces, what Japan produces, what Korea produces, or what comes from Europe and the US, to being producers of that level of innovations. And this will help us, as we produce, drive our IPR sector to ensure that whatever we produce is protected. We have seen a lot of innovations, of course, coming from this country, and KIPI has been taking that lead in protecting the innovations that come out here. But most of the innovations that we have as a country are taken out there by other countries who have the power to use the same and drive their development. And therefore, protecting our intellectual properties is through patents, through copyrights, through trademarks, encourages further research, especially in universities and research institutions, and development, which ultimately leads to economic growth and more innovation. This protection, as I said, allows innovators or inventors to recoup their initial investment in the process of creating these technologies. Now we need to look at the impact. What now is the impact of all, this process of protecting our properties and also of monetizing the same. One of them is incentivization of innovations. I think this again motivates researchers, it motivates innovators to continue innovating and commercializing the same, so that you can grow new industries, create job opportunities, and also advance our economic development. It also drives further research around technologies and leads to more, to the growth of newer technologies, which in this case will be homegrown technologies, which now are key to addressing our local problems. Now, what would be the benefits to this? One, as I said, is once you have an innovation, once that innovation is protected, then you can use it to grow an entity, an industry. You can commercialize that, make it an investment, create a job opportunity for yourself, create job opportunities for others, but also help grow the economy of our country. Now we are looking, in this case, in today's conversation, we're looking at two sectors. We're looking at health, we're also looking at housing. And as I said in the beginning, these are two core sectors in the current government's agenda under the bottom-up economic transformation model that we have. And in the case of health, as we have seen from what the previous presenter said, around SHA, we in the innovations that we're creating have started utilizing artificial intelligence in treatment and also diagnosing the kind of sickness or diseases that our people are suffering from. There are several AI models, some of them homegrown, but many of them from outside the country that are able to predict, patients' diseases, what they are suffering from, predict outcomes, and assist in personalized treatment. And I think that is where technology has taken us. Number two is the data analysis and Internet of Things sensors. We can now use sensors as we walk around to even test or feel your heartbeat, check whether your heart rate is good, and check many other, including sugar levels, and so on and so forth. These innovations, looking back 10 years ago, would just been a pipe dream. People, or many of us, would not have believed that this would have been possible, given where we were 20 years ago, and of course the transformation that the current technology within the sphere of the fourth industrial revolution has brought about. And then finally, telemedicine or telehealth. Now you can get medical services, medical support and advisory services from someone who is not necessarily in the hospital that you are in. Nowadays you have doctors seated in India, seated in places like China, who are working with doctors seated in Machakos or in Naivasha to provide medical services, medical advisory support to people who who are suffering, or people who are sick. And that sharing of information has been enabled by the level of technology that we have today. Again, when you go to housing, you realize that we are talking about affordable housing in this country. And technology has made it easier to produce many houses, produce many housing materials that have made it easy and cheaper to putting up the kind of affordable housing that we see today. This, of course, includes smart building technologies that are helping us improve our energy efficiency, optimize resource management, and also reduce the impact of environmental challenges, of course, around climate change that we have that we see today. And also, technology has helped us come up with data-driven, urban planning, the smart cities, what we have in a place like Konza, where we are able now to use smart city initiatives, leverage data analysis, and optimize urban planning and address the housing needs in our cities today. Now, this is what the Kenya Advanced Institute of Science and Technology, or the KAIST or Kenyaist, is looking at, in our programs that we are planning to start running in the next 2-3 months. At the Kenya IST, the programs that we have, and just to mention that this is a postgraduate university only, focusing on research in science, technology, innovation, and development. Our flagship programs that we are going to start with include mechanical engineering, civil engineering, and environmental sustainability, electrical and electronic engineering, ICT, chemical, nuclear, and bioengineering. And when you look at those programs, you see housing there around the civil and environmental engineering. You also see health around the bioengineering program that we are going to work on. Our programs are research-driven, around technology, around science, around innovation. They are also industry-linked, because deliberately we are going to put together industries so that the innovations that are produced at the university will be used to drive the industrial development of our country, but also to address some of the challenges that our industries are facing today. And the programs are also geared towards industrializing and modernizing Kenya and enhancing our regions and global competitiveness. Of course, increasing productivity in the areas of focus that we are focusing on as a university. In a way of concluding this, I would like to mention that intellectual property protection plays a very crucial role in fostering research, technology, and innovation, leading to economic growth and promoting the growth of social benefits to our people. We should then invest more in our research, which is one of the biggest challenges that we face as a country and as universities and research institutions. Invest more on innovations, invest more on IPR so that we can protect our intellectual properties, of course, so that we can also increase the number of scientific production or publications that are needed to drive the kind of innovations that we need. But it's also important that we have a balance, because if we protect these technologies, these innovations too much, the sharing bit, which is supposed to improve our outreach, expand our networks, and now lead us to producing more innovations, might be sort of curtailed, or stifled by, the protection that sometimes we put in place. And that is why most of the innovators today, especially those ones from outside, are keen in having this open source, where they can share, the innovations, the inventions that they have for the benefit of humanity. I just want to start with this, Chair, just to address some of the issues around the topic of the day. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you. So keep your questions and write them down because we are going to dialogue at the end after the second speaker. And I know from his IP presentation, I want to recognize Engineer Kariuki. What were your acronyms? Was it PK? PK Kariuki from JKUAT is one of the specialists we also have in IP issues. Yeah, so keep your questions, we are going to come to it. The second presenter is Engineer Kenneth Kariuki. He's representing Margaret. Kenneth is a civil engineer by profession and is a manager enforcement at Engineering Board of Kenya, EBK. Yeah, and that one is for the universities that are here. You can now see the face that is behind your things. Yeah, so it's good you have to make friends now. Yeah, and hey, I'm happy about this one. He's an alumni of JKU at. You know, you have to keep praising your places, isn't it? Yeah. And he's also now undertaking a master's program in transportation engineering. Can we put our hands together for him to present here? Thank you, engineer. Yeah.
Thank you, Chair. I'm also happy to be here. I was one of your products back then, so I'm happy to be here. Now I'm standing representing my CEO and registrar, Engineer Margaret Ogai, who couldn't be here with us today because she's abroad representing this country on matters to touch on education, which are very important for the engineering profession. I think we've heard of the Washington Accord, so that is ongoing now. So I have a short presentation just to start this conversation on affordable housing and healthcare. And allow me to just start with the mandate of the board. What do we do as a board? We were told in another forum, Chair, that even in funerals, you talk about what you do. People need to know what you do. You might be offering critical services to the public, and people might not be aware. So as a board, we are established under the Act. We register and license all engineers. I will repeat, all engineers in this country, local and foreign, and engineering consulting firms. We also partake in capacity building through training and partnerships with other stakeholders, and also regulate the profession. If we can move ahead, please. Now, allow me to introduce engineering, but this is known. Engineering is a way of life. If you look at that pictorial, engineering covers everything, virtually everything to do with human life, from housing, where you live, the roads you use, aviation, name it, the power you use, telecommunication gadgets we have and computers, the healthcare sector. There cannot be an healthcare sector without engineering, the infrastructure, the machines there, the air conditioning and whatnot systems for theaters to remain cold and that. The water sector, the dams, the pipelines, you are talking about sewerage systems. Agriculture, mechanization of the same, mining and processing, manufacturing, name it, virtually engineering touches all aspects of human life. And so we are happy to share a few insights. If you can go to the next slide, please. The next slide. What you are saying is engineering is critical to achieve, we have the Agenda 2063 for Africa, Vision 2030, and now the better for this country. If you look at the better specifically, the critical pillars for better, housing, which we are going to have a discussion today, the health sector, agriculture, MSMEs and digital superhighway, all those require input from the engineering sector in order to really transform the economy of this country. We can move ahead. Now, I've shared this, Chair, because in such a platform, all of us have I had hoped the students would be in today actually, but we have sons and daughters who might want to pursue engineering as a career. If you scan the QR code there, it will take you to our website. You can get a list of all the engineering programs recognized by the board for your sons and daughters, and even those who are here who want to pursue engineering as a career to undertake. We are doing this in collaboration with the Council of Deans and Students, the Commission for University Education, and so far we are proud to announce that I think statistically engineering has the largest programs in the country. You will be surprised. 75 number programs across 17 number universities in Kenya are being taught currently. Next slide. Now allow me to share with you a little bit on, back a little bit. I was going to share with you statistics, some statistics on the current numbers we have for engineering in the country. And I think this conversation is important because we are talking of affordable housing, healthcare, which requires infrastructure development and systems. And as one of the speakers said yesterday, I think it was from the National Defense Industries, a country's greatest resource is human resource. If you can go back a bit, Adito. Yes, sir. Thank you, thank you. So those are the numbers we have in the country for engineers. Just to demonstrate, the first category is the firms. These are firms, corporate bodies, registered, licensed to undertake engineering services in the country from different disciplines. Then we have the categories. I won't dwell on that, but what I was trying to say is we are developing capacity. In terms of entry level, the graduate engineers, we are currently at around 23,500. Now, once you graduate from universities in different programs and you have that degree certificate recognized by the board, you are registered as a graduate. Now, these are majority of the people offering services to Kenyans under the supervision of the other three categories, professional, consulting, and accredited checkers. We are working towards attaining a target of 10,000 by year 2028 for the licensed professional engineers. And this is in line with the UNESCO requirement for a middle income country of 1 in 5,000 persons, 1 engineer for 5,000 persons in certain, that kind of a population in a middle income country. If you could go to the next slide. Now I'll touch a little bit, Chair, on the gender. You can see that we are not doing very good. This to encourage our ladies to take up engineering. Those are the numbers per categories we have. On average, I think the females are around 9.9, representing 9.9% of all engineers in the country. So this is to encourage our ladies. You have daughters at home, and we are reaching out to those who are heading schools, encourage our ladies to take up STEM and engineering as a career to bridge the gap. The next slide. Now I'll spend a little bit of time here. The previous speaker, Prof, talked about the disciplines key for affordable housing. And as you can see, the highest entry we have in our register is civil engineering. Now, civil engineering encompasses 3 main practice areas. 1 is structural engineering, 2 is highways and transportation, and 3 is water. And if you think about it, everything to do with the housing, everything to do with the construction has to have a civil engineer. So the numbers are there. Around 58% of all engineers in Kenya are civil engineers, followed closely by electrical and electronics, and then mechanical. Then agriculture, production, and the rest. What we are looking at is that if you think about affordable housing, it's a whole ecosystem. It's not just the buildings. And this, I think, is a conversation we'll talk about. We are talking of roads leading to there. We are talking of energy supply to these houses. We are talking of water piped to these houses. We are talking of sewer systems serving these houses. We are also talking specifically for the Kenyan context, the affordable housing. I think the government is keen on doing a LPG, liquefied petroleum gas reticulation to those houses. All this will require engineering input. And the good thing is, I think looking at the first three bands, the civil, electrical, and mechanical, those are the key drivers for the housing sector. And so what I'm telling you is that we have the capacity to deliver these houses. Our engineers have been involved in from geotechnical studies for these projects through the State Department of Housing. We are involved in design and scoping of these projects, and also implementation phase, monitoring, supervision of works for this. Again, there are emerging fields. You can see we register a whole range of disciplines up to mineral and mining, metallurgy, telecommunications, aeronautical engineering, aerospace engineering. We have those in the country, biosystems. So it's to encourage all of us again to take up this. There are some fields, I know mechatronics, JQuat is among the lead in that. If you are talking about robotics, then you are talking of mechatronics engineers. That is the future we are looking at. We already have people in the country, local engineers, and we are hoping that we continue to grow capacity for that. Next slide, please. Now, I'm about to finish, Chair. Now, this is the same data, but now for firms. Again, you can see even for corporate bodies, incorporated bodies as consulting firms, the largest is civil again, electrical, mechanical, and the rest follow. What we are seeing is that this is vital, especially for the affordable housing program, because we've had the mode of engagement is through consortiums, which could be firms, which are multidisciplinary, so offering a wide range of expertise, all individual consultants. Again, this to confirm that you are involved in that provision of engineering services through the firms. The next slide. Now, I will leave with the key priority areas, which I think are important for this. As I said earlier, one is we look forward to growing professional engineers to over 10,000 by year 2028. Kenya School of Engineering, KAIST, Prof, I know we are already in talks. We'll enhance that so that our engineers are able to benefit from that. And the Washington Accord. Our partnerships, I think, NACOST is such a good platform. We look forward to capacity building for engineers on research, science and technology and innovation, IP rights, just basically to enhance STEM development in this country. We need to develop a critical mass of competent people in the STEMs to drive forward the economic growth of this country. And last is there's always the stick if things don't go well. So continuous sensitization, using such forums as we are in, and engagements to get feedback from stakeholders on areas of improvement. We also look forward to the members of the public, yourselves here included, to report non-compliances to us. As a board, we can't be everywhere. These developments happen in our neighborhoods. If you see something touching on engineering, which you think you suspect there is a non-compliance, you can just visit our website, ebk.go.ke. There are tabs for whistleblowing, professional misconduct reporting. You can do so anonymously if you fear any repercussions, and we'll be able to take it up. Otherwise, Chair, thank you. I think I'll end there. Looking forward to a good conversation.
Yeah, thank you, members. You saw the face, isn't it? Yeah, it is a young face, eh? And I'm bringing this because that is the face of EBK now. Let me tell you, EBK has reformed. There was a time when we wanted to, he told you, you saw that many people are in civil, mechanical, electrical, what? It was EBK that was stopping the others from coming up. So now with these new young faces, it has changed. I remember they chased JKU out of the meeting because we were introducing marine engineering. And that time I was a bit younger. So I will say, surely, those old professors of University of Nairobi, what are they doing? But now I have reached that age, so I cannot say that now. Yeah, so I'm happy that EBK has reformed, and now they are accepting now other engineering aspects. And the most important that I've also liked about his presentation also, they have now accepted to start a Kenya School of Engineering. So that will help people who are undergraduates who are now looking for registration. They can now probably go to that school, just like the law school, and they can then be recognized. So thank you so much for those presentations, the two of them. Now we can engage for about 10 minutes. Yeah? Yes, I know we have one important presentation. So maximum 7 minutes. Yeah, with a lot of questions, because this is supposed to be dialogue. And you can point it to any of the two. Yeah? Either the KAIST or the, yes, let's start with her. And then with chairman here, where is the mic? You should have 2 mics so that you don't spend time reaching out to people. There is that first one, then the chairman here. So there should be 2 mics. Yeah, so you can start off.
Good morning. My question goes to the intellectual property protection. I have 2 questions. One, do you charge any fee for getting a patent or a copyright? Another one, how does one go about getting an IPP in research innovation?
Okay, thank you. Yeah.
On the engineers board,
yeah.
I come from Kabete National Polytechnic, and we've rolled out a program known as recognition of prior learning. So I was asking if you are aware that we are certifying people who have knowledge or skills in different sectors in the country. Yeah, thank you.
Okay, let's take 3, then they will respond, yeah?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Mine is to Kipi. That was a good presentation. But I wanted to understand how you work with WIPO. How connected are you with WIPO, and what is the deal between the two of you? Number 2, does a Kipi protection cover somebody globally? Yeah? If not, then what is your advice for people who want to shoot much higher? Yeah? And lastly, does a patent have to be commercializable? And if so, which commercial data do you consider? If so.
Okay.
Thank you, Madam.
Yeah.
Madam.
Thank you. Do we have a third one? Yeah, right
Yes,
at the back. Oh, then we'll come to... You already have the mic, eh?
Yeah. Thank you very much. I would like to direct my question to Engineer Kinoti. You made a very nice presentation, and what is to say is the gender parity. With the engineers, we don't seem to be seeing ladies, and we have only seen 9%. I am concerned, is this worrying you as a board? And if yes, what is it that you're doing to address the same? Thank you.
Yes, I support that one very much, yeah. Thank you. So you can we
Yeah.
have one, Rose, Professor Rose, you can say, then we give the mic to them, so they answer as they are seated. Yeah.
Yeah, just to add on the gender issue, we talk of 20%. I think it's better if we can say the numbers, 20% of 2 or 3, please, because this one is hiding something.
Yeah. Yes, so I think you can bring the mic here so that they can respond. And yeah, can you come in the next session? Yeah. Yes, yes. Okay, Prof. Yeah.
Engineer, thank you very much, really, for the exposition. Just a very short question to you, sir. What is aching our take on over? Even development, even construction of highways. What is the keyest aching reason why we can't do a thing and yet we are hiring Chinese throughout? What is aching our knowledge, our brains that you are trained on? You claim so much.
Okay, thank you. So you can answer those ones shortly. We'll have a second round. Yeah, you can answer. Give them the mic. Yeah. Yes. Yeah. You can start off. Yeah.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you, the audience. I think I have 4 questions. I'll start with the one for recognition of prior learning. That's good. Yes, we are aware of that. What I'll say is that if you look at how engineering is structured, you have, in the country, we have 2 bodies. We have HBK, Regulating and Licensing Engineers. We also have Kenya Engineering Technologists Registration Board, licensing and regulating technologists, technicians, and artisans. And so, for us, one of the fundamental requirements for you to pursue engineering as a career at the professional level is that you must have a bachelor's undergraduate degree. So for those people who have been in industry, working as foremen, fundis, but they have amassed enough knowledge and skills in their areas, then the entry level is there through the other body, KETREB. You can start somewhere as a registered artisan, go-hub, technician, technologist, and then find your way to engineering. But we are aware of that. Thank you. The issue of gender parity and what we are doing about it as a board, yes, we take cognizance of that, and the display of the statistics was deliberate because it's a conversation we've been having. Our CEO is a lady very passionate about that. And I think we just had the first Women Engineers Conference recently, last month, 28th and 29th of May. And we are also engaging schools. That's why I said I was excited. I hope the students were here. We are engaging schools in every opportunity we get to encourage young ladies to join STEM and specifically pursue engineering. And we'll be championing more of this going forward to bridge the gap. The other question was on the numbers. We have not hidden anything. I think the first slide I displayed had the absolute numbers. So it's just a correlation. 20% of that first slide, but the numbers are there. They are also in public. If you visit our website, you'll be able to see the numbers of these categories. Thank you. The last question by Prof, thank you. What is aching the industry? Now I'll say that there is, I don't know how to put it, maybe a misconception. In this country, what usually happens is that for any infrastructure project, let's take an example, a road, a major highway. You've seen a Chinese there constructing and whatnot. Now, the way the industry is set up is that design and supervision is usually by our engineers, Kenyan engineers. And through the agencies, I don't know whether we have any here, Kena, Kura, Kera, they have local engineers. If you go to the energy sector, the same applies. Kengen, Ketraco, they have local engineers working in those industries. Water sector, the same. So these big infrastructure projects, you will find the scoping, design, and supervision is by our local engineers. Now, where you will find the foreign experts is on the construction side, the contractors. And the main reason being we haven't developed enough capacity locally. Not technical capacity, but mainly financial muscles to enable us acquire equipments and maintain companies to undertake construction, which can really fuel the development. And if you've been following up the conversation in the public space, one of the major things the government is currently trying to tackle is the payment of pending bills. Now, if you have a local Kenyan farm without financial backing, and you go to the bank, take a loan to undertake a construction, and the government doesn't pay in time,
Okay.
then dissipates everything else. So I think the real issue is funding and financial muscle. The technical capacity is there locally. Thank you.
Thank you. And I think EBK, can we clap for him? And I think EBK, you should be at the front line advising the Ministry of Education to make maths, chemistry, physics, biology compulsory. Yes, otherwise you won't get many people coming to your direction. Yes. Yes, yeah.
Thank you very much. I'm just going to take it up from my co-panelist here to look into three other comments or questions that were raised. But before I get to that, we have already started having conversations with the EBK on the kind of programs that will help address the numbers that they want to meet by 2028, but also balance the gender so that women, we have more women in the engineering space. Because they say women, when they get to do something, they do it better.
And genuinely.
Than men. I'm not sure about that. We need to confirm. Professor Munava will confirm that to us later over a cup of tea. But three things. One, do we charge any fees for registering your innovation? I think that is what you asked. Yes, keep it charges you what you call trademark fees. If you have an innovation that you want registered, there are varying fees that you need to sort of have, and you need to pay to keep it, to have your trademark or your innovation registered. And how do you get your innovation registered? Again, you talk to KIPI. You know, when you have something that you believe is your own, you go in there, you know, talk to them, present to them, they review it, and then they register it when they realize, if they find that you are the only person behind that innovation. And I think we're encouraging this very much. Even when you do a logo or something that is new, it's important that we have it protected so that it is not copied by others and reproduced out in the country. And this is something that we've seen with the kind of traditional innovations that we have in this country. You go to a place like the Philippines, you find Kiondo, which is already protected and registered at their trademark. Out there, when you know that Kiondo comes from Eastern, from Bandus, and this is something that we as a community or as a country should have protected a long time ago. We are talking very much about indigenous knowledge, indigenous, scientific knowledge, so that anything that we have in this country is also protected, and that it is not reproduced again in China, and then somebody tells you that this is our innovation. No, it is our innovation. Anything from the Maasai, anything from the Kikuyu, from the Kamba, from the Luos, from the Kalenjins, anything that is traditional, that is our scientific product. And finally, KIPI covers Kenya, Prof. KIPI covers, but collaborates with WIPO in sort of protecting the innovations that we produce in this country. So KIPI, WIPO, they work closely together in the protection space. Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah, make it briefly. Yeah, make it brief, because they are telling me time is up.
Sorry, one more please.
Or you have a talk over tea, have a chat over tea. Yes, there was only one last one that I'm going to allow because we are really bad on time. And as he gets the mic, those who have not been to Konza, you better go and see, even especially Kaist. It's a smart city. And they're saying, seeing is believing. Yeah, so you know, you will hear different things on the ground, but if you go there, you'll actually know that we have a smart city in Kenya. Yes?
I have a question to Engineer Kinoti. The aspect of affordable housing. I just wanted to understand what makes affordable housing that is being rolled out affordable. In the sense that you realize that the private sector or people building decent homes is a challenge. So is it in terms of technology? Is it in terms of materials? What makes it more affordable than what a simple person could do? The second question is in terms of the challenge that maybe we have, similar to what Professor asked earlier, in terms of our engineering. You realize that we import, especially virtually everything electronic, including simple things like toys and all that kind of thing. What really hampers our, engineering locally, including also in terms of building technology? You realize that even brick making, the people who make bricks make one brick at a time. Why isn't it having our mechanics find a way of maybe producing mass volume of bricks at a time? And lastly is in terms of innovation. In terms of engineering, what could you say about the innovation that comes out of engineering that goes into commercialization? How many do we usually have, annually? How many patents do we register, and how many do we possibly commercialize? Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. That's the only question we are answering. So you. Yeah, yeah. Yes. Okay, you can answer that, both of them, and be brief in your answering because we are really finished with time. I can see the next speaker is on his feet. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you very much. I'm just going to take that one, the last part of it, what challenges do we face about producing innovations locally. I think these are things that I think have been discussed several times. One of them is the kind of research that we produce. When you check the quantity of scientific research that we produce in Kenya and Africa, it is not up to the level that would give us the kind of innovations that we would like to have in the continent and in the country. In the continent, we talk of less than 1% of the total scientific publications that we have. And the publications or scientific research is what leads to innovations. And of course, that now goes around research budgets that are allocated in our country and across, which of course now creates that challenge of not producing enough research. And finally, the policies around research and innovation, science, technology, research and innovation in this country should be well aligned with the future of science and technology. We go back, many times we lack the policies, and many times these policies are not in sync with what we are expected to do to compete with the rest of the world. Now, does a patent have to be, to have that link of commercialization? I think when we look at the innovations that are patented, you do not necessarily have to patent an innovation that is going to lead to industry development. But generally, the focus, the focus of our economies today is to ensure that most of the innovations that we have will lead to commercialization and the growth of industries. And then, of course, this is guided by the data around the kind of industry that this innovation is supposed to get commercialized. And so I think this is a conversation that we can take up as we progress in this conference. Thank you.
Okay, and my last parting shot is, I think the innovators who are here, especially in EBK or at KAIST, no, he has not ignored. He answered you, then he said, you are going to continue the discussion with him, Chairman. That's what he said. Probably you are on your phone, so you didn't hear. But he said he's going to continue the discussion with you. Perhaps he doesn't have a direct answer. Perhaps you have the answer. Why don't you give the answer? Perhaps you have the answer. Can we give the... Yeah, can you give the chairman the answer so that everybody can hear?
I think I said this, just to get back to the question, because I think you were on the phone when I said this, that it is not necessarily that an innovation, a patented sort of innovation goes or leads to industry growth or gets commercialized, because there are various innovations that are commercialized. Like, give an example of a logo. A logo is an innovation that does not which can be patented. It does not necessarily have to lead to industry growth. However, the focus of the innovations that we develop as a country should get us to the level of growing our industries through commercialization. Now, and this, sorry, okay. Thank you, Prof. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Chairman. Yeah, so as I said, my parting shot is to the two of them. In the area of innovation, especially in the construction materials, building, whatever, because there are some three pests that have become ferocious because of the climate change. The cockroaches, the termites, and the rats. Can we have some materials that are repellent to these things? Have a termite repellent cement, cockroach repellent, whatever, stones, and the rat repellent things, because they are, infesting our house. They have become very ferocious. So even as you do that, coming up with the other construction materials, I think in engineering, you need to have something like that. Incorporate engineering with the, is it biochemistry or biology or whatever, and work together so that those can happen. So can we give 5 factorial, starting from down, going up to the presenters, eh? And we appreciate their age, isn't it? We are happy. They are coming up and taking over from us, and we are very happy about it. So can we warm the drum beats? Yeah? And we give it 5 factorial, starting with 1. Okay? Ready? Thank you very much. Yeah. All the best. And we have some things. Yeah, some presentations. We'll start with you, Chairman.
Thank you.
Yeah, I think it should go like this.
Thank you.
Yes. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you very much. Okay. Thank you. So I think you can go, and we go now to the next presentation. We have one more presentation, and I would like to invite to the front Professor Munavu. Professor, yeah, I think it's you who is making the presentation. Yes, the talk, your talk. Yeah. Yes. Can we give him a clap as he comes? You know, this is one of the mentors we have had over a number of years. Yeah, Professor, yes? Yeah, you can sit, yes. And Professor doesn't need to be introduced. He was introduced yesterday. He's a key in science, technology, and engineering. He has covered so many, he has been in so many boards, and he's now actually with the Konza City as the chair of board. Isn't it, Prof? Yeah? You are chair of board, Konza. Yes, and I told you Konza is a smart city. There is one that is trying to copy Konza in Cotonou. And yes, they are trying to do it, and they call themselves something city, I won't say. And they say that they are looking forward to being mentored by Konza City. So Professor is here to tell us more about himself, because I cannot introduce him. He's my senior, and I might just slip somewhere. Yeah, so he'll tell us a lot about himself and what he's doing and his topic. Can we clap for him again as he comes to present? Prof, feel most welcome. Yeah.
I will not tell you what she just whispered to me. Good morning, everybody. Yeah. I am very delighted to engage with you today. You know, when I was listening to issues of intellectual property and so forth, I thought about lawyers. And the reason I thought about lawyers is because supposing you have an innovation, but it is not patented, and you have evidence that you did it, and somebody in Japan goes or China and patents it, as if it is, because they will look at WIPO and everywhere and say it's not patented, they patent it and they say it is theirs. And yet, you have evidence that you did it. What can you do? If there is any lawyer here in the house, or if there is no lawyer now, Engineering Board of Kenya, KAIST and so on, please reflect on it. There may be things that have been patented by others and commercialized, but they were discovered by our ancestors. I believe very strongly that we need to get a lawyer, Kaminwa, and these other people, very distinguished lawyers, to get together and we go and we reclaim the people that have commercialized our discoveries as communities. And then we will not simply say that the patent should be recalled, but we will be saying, if you made $2.5 billion, how much of that should come back to us? We will be calling it the law of repatriation. The law of repatriation. Then when I was sitting and listening to the Engineering Board of Kenya and listening to KAIST, and they want to start a Kenya School of Engineering, I just say to myself, why don't we, instead of starting so many things, just go to KAIST and say, Mutisia, instead of calling yourself KAIST, call yourself KAISTE. So you say Kenya Advanced Institute of Science, Technology, and Engineering. Simple. So work together, okay, work together, and you use, I don't know what English word you use, but you sort of mentor them and assist them, and you'll be KAISTE. My presentation will be brief, and it will be on cutting. Okay, show me how to do it. Okay, it will be brief. I will be talking about socioeconomic development, what it is. And because I'm talking about what they are calling it, I didn't call it, but a reconfiguration of higher education in Kenya. How do we reconfigure higher education in Kenya? Ordinarily, because I'm from the university sector, I would be saying university education. But again, let's begin to reflect on our mindset change. I was delighted with the lady from Kabete. She's talking about recognition of prior learning and things like that, TVET institutions. I was walking the other side, I saw a school called Sigalaga. You call it what? Sigalagala. Is it Sigalagala or Sigalagala? Sigalagala, okay, sign. And so forth. So all of this is what we should be calling higher education. But there is something else that I always keep thinking that we ignore. The future is not just driven by knowledge, yes, universities, TVET institutions, but in most of our cultures, you had teams that were training future leaders. Whatever name you gave those teams, whether it is Njorin Jeke, whether it's whatever it is, and so on, there were teams that were generating knowledge, reflecting knowledge, ensuring that the future is driven by knowledge. Think about it. Next. So I will cover those, but the end of the day, the end of the presentation will be my proposals on some of the things that we can do, okay, to reconfigure higher education in our country. And to me, the place to begin is, why higher education? You can talk about reconfiguring, transforming, and so on. But we need to understand, why is it? And it is because the intention of education, of knowledge, is to ensure that in future, everybody has got the goods and services that they need. That to me is the most important. That if you are hungry, you can get food. If you want this, you can get it. You used to be Nakada. Yeah. But if you want some things like beer, you need to be controlled kidogo. Things like smoking, you need to be controlled kidogo. It shouldn't be there. So the goods and services that I'm talking about are the ones that you need in a secure environment. Don't endanger the lives of others. Don't get cars and assume that this car is okay, and yet when you ride on it, you are emitting carbon dioxide, and so on and so forth. No. So it is development in a secure environment. Next. How? And this I call elements of sustainable development. You need to improve the life of the people. And by the way, you can check how developed you are very many ways. She was asking, what breakfast did you have? Me, I had uji. You had fish. So we can compare each other because of the food that we eat. Okay? At one time, I used to have a very interesting car called Renault. You remember that car? Some of you may not remember, but the gear was fantastic. Yeah, you remember? Eh? The gear was not the one that you do like this, it is the one that you were doing like this. Fantastic. Eh? But I had friends like Micheka, who was driving at that time. I thought he was from the lake because he had a Mercedes. So you compare. Okay, you compare. You can then also compare communities. There's nothing wrong with it. Globally, the United Nations Development Corporation, or Development Agency, said we are going to be comparing the development of groups and countries on the basis of something they call HDI, Human Development Index. So that if I look at an American, I can say, where are they? Kenyan, where are they? Okay? I used to have a friend of mine from Cameroon, and I would always ask him, and Cameroon and Kenya, where are they? So he would tell me Cameroon is up here, Kenya is down there. Then I tell him, but you know, we, the Bantus in this region, came from Cameroon. So when you say we are down here, we are going to come to Cameroon and demand our rights from Cameroon. They have a lot of things, but that's for a story for another day. So Human Development Index is extremely important, and that is used internationally. So I will go through that. Next, you notice I'm rushing because I've been told I have only 30 minutes. Huh? Sustainable development, I think I've handled that. We alleviate poverty. By the way, when you say somebody is poor, do you know what it means? Some of you, go and reflect on it. Unaangalia mtu unasema, you are a poor man or a poor woman. By the way, we never say poor woman. It's always the poor man. Okay? There is a reason for it. And a poor man is a man who cannot provide food enough per day to his dependents, and I think it's a few calories per day. So you as a man, all the men here, yeah, you have 60%. You must ensure that you provide food. Normally it is starch, sugar, and so on, so that your dependents can be able to survive per day. That is the measure of poverty. If you cannot afford that, you are poor. But if you can afford it, it's okay. We create wealth. We all say that we have a lot of natural resources. But if you have the natural resources and they are sitting there and you cannot transform them to what you need, I look at all of us and the clothes that we are wearing here, and I say, if we were to do an experiment, and this one I can mobilize Micheka and I and a few others, we do some study. We just look at the clothes that all of us are wearing, and we see how many of us are wearing clothes that have origin in our country. It's just an example. It can be that. You will be surprised. So you have resources, but you are not transforming them to what you need, then you have a challenge. How many of you, how many cars do we have? How many vehicles do we have in Nairobi today? Number one, in the streets. Number two, parked because they are not moving. Number three, they have been demolished and so on in the garage. Go and check. And then find out of those vehicles, the value. And then, where did they come from? From out there, not from here. So we need to be able to create wealth, value addition with the resources that we have. With the resources that we have here, we can be able to produce almost anything globally. I used to be a vice chancellor of a university called Moi, way back in 1990s. And what surprised me is, at that time, MULTISECTORAL, I was very humble, okay? Because when I went there, there was a man, I will not tell you his name. As a vice chancellor, I had an office, there was a sofa set there, there was a private toilet, there was a place I could get tea and so on. And then to enter my office, you had to know that. Yeah, you had to have a secretary, but at my time, we also had the tea. So this fellow, I hear he come and he's like he was enter my office. Oh, I was surprised. He was from India. Then I asked him, please sit down, yeah? What can I do for you? Professor, are you from this country? I said, yes, of course. And you? And I'm from India. And I'm very unhappy. I said, who are you, by the way? He said, oh, I'm a professor here also. I didn't know all of them, so he told me he was a professor. I had just joined. So he told me, you guys are doing a very bad thing. You are allowing people to come and exploit in the coast, and that mineral was called what? Micheka, remind me. Very good. He said in India, titanium is a strategic mineral, and you cannot have anybody touch something which is strategic. So why are you allowing people to come? I said, how strategic is, I'm a chemist, and I was saying that before Some comes, because he may be annoyed a little bit, but nevertheless, oh, you were here already? Eh? Yeah. So that fellow, Some, I never told you the story, but an Indian professor from Chepkoilel. So that's okay, that was, I'm about to finish. So he told me, why are you allowing people to come and mine titanium? And yet it is a strategic material, strategic resource in Kenya. Oh, I said, oh, okay, now I hear you, mini. Then I consulted our engineers and so on, and they said, yeah, in India it is strategic because it is used for making aeroplanes. It's strong, but very light. Strategic. So I learned a major lesson. Prof, you came when I was just talking about our ability to create wealth by transforming the materials that we have. Next. There is another level at which I don't want to go. I was just talking about strategic material, strategic mineral you can control so that others cannot come and exploit. Yeah. Okay. Next. Quite often when you are talking about development, and I call it socio-economic. I think somebody yesterday, or no, today actually, was mentioning about science, and we talk about science all the time, even STEM. But please, to be liberally educated, it is not just the science and the engineering that you know, but how does it impact the lives of the people? You can't ignore that social component. That's why, to me, development, yes, but it should be social and economic. So even you as engineers and scientists and so on, please, make sure you have a little understanding of economics, a little bit understanding of religion, a little bit of understanding on the social and community lives and so on, so that you understand the people that you are serving, or that knowledge is going to transform their life. That to me is extremely important. So even as we talk about the universities of the future, and Mutisia, as you talk about KAIST and so on, please, whatever technologies you develop and commercialize, they are going to impact the lives of the people. So you need to understand the people. Who are the people? That to me is very important. And finally, there is a bullet there, number 5, on low investment of research, and I will tell you why. If you look at a country that is not developed, the answer is simple. It is because they don't value knowledge, and they don't invest on creating new knowledge through research. I will give you data. Don't let it trigger your mind badly. Next. Let me give you what the United Nations does. When we talk about the development of human beings, there are 3 components that you must always keep in mind. And the components are you healthy? Can you be able to walk and talk and help others? And health is measured, it is not really necessarily a good measure, but it's measured on what they call life expectancy. When you are born as a baby, how long will your life be? Life expectancy. In many countries, it is 80 years. When you are born, it's 80 years. In Kenya, when a baby is born and you are told estimate the life expectancy, then we may be talking about 55, 60 years and so on. So that is one measure of development. The second one is education. Education, knowledge, transforming your mind so that you can guide your life moving forward. And the measure they use is, and this is a simplistic one, is number one, did you go to school? And how long did you spend in primary, secondary, and so on? How many of your, what is your capacity to eventually enter the university, and so forth? And finally, how much money, on the average, do you have in your pocket? That is, I think, the economists are the ones who can really explain it to us. But what they do is they look at the total income of Kenya, for example, per year, of the food that we produce, whatever it is that we take, the gross domestic product, how much money, then you divide it by the population, and now you can say, each Kenyan is getting so much. So if you use those three parameters, then you can measure the level of development of any country. Next. For example, this is just a few selected countries. You see, HDI is Human Development Index. LE is life expectancy. ED is education, the number of years that you spend in school, and GNI is gross national income. How much do you, on the average, does a person in that country earn? Switzerland, the highest level you can get of human development is 1. So you can say Switzerland is 0.96. They're doing very well. Life expectancy, 84 years. Education, 17 years in school. And then the amount of money per person and so on is $69,000 per year. Norway and so on, and you go to South Korea. And I am mentioning South Korea so that when you are talking about KAIST, you can also be comparing. South Korea, look at the HDI, look at the life expectancy, 84. Look at the education, they spend about 16 years and 17. And then, of course, GNI is not very high as Switzerland, but nevertheless, it is good. Now, this is data you can get. Google it. Human Development Index, you'll be able to get it. And they normally do it on an annual basis. And I would really suggest that you be looking at it annually. Next. And normally the total number of countries is about 195 or 185. So they rank them according to that. So to the far left is the ranking. So for example, this is Sub-Saharan Africa. Mauritius is number 72 internationally. Look at their Human Development Index, 0.796. Life expectancy, 74 years. Education, they spend 14 to 15 years in school, and then $23,000 per year. Look at your lovely, the only country, Kenya, number 145. Yeah? 140. 146. Yeah. By the way, our Human Development Index is increasing. A few years ago, it used to be 0.5. Now we are 0.6. Life expectancy is 62. A few years ago, it used to be 54 years on the average. Education, 11 years. That is the amount of time that an average Kenyan spends in school. In countries which have done very well, they are talking about 17 years, 18 years in school. And of course, the income is on the low side. Next. This is data that you can very easily get. But I think statistics really are very important for you to look at because they don't lie. It is the truth. For example, you look at expenditure on research for selected countries. Because research is you create new knowledge. Now, the way I've done it here, I have looked at the amount in billions of dollars. The next column is the percent of your GDP that you spent on creating new knowledge. And now the end column, and this I think is very interesting, is the number of researchers for every 1 million citizens. Let's look at the US quickly. 454 billion they spent on research. 454. That is 3.64% of their GDP. How many researchers, trained researchers, do they have for each 1 million citizens? It is 4,452. This is just at 2022. If you Google the data now, it may have changed. Now look at South Africa, down at the bottom. South Africa, they spent 5 billion. GDP 0.5, no, 8, is it 0.5? I think that figure I need to revisit it. I think it's slightly more for South Africa. I need to change that, to look at it. And the researchers, but look at the number of researchers, it's 473 per 1 million. Now look at your lovely country, Kenya. USD, $1 billion, that's all we spend. GDP, 0.6%. Now, in most places that you Google, you will find it 0.4, 0.5. This one is 2022. Something must have happened that we did, so that that year, the amount went up. And we have about 169 per 1 million researchers. Do you see our shortcoming? We have very few researchers compared to other countries that are advanced. Next. I think this I have just given you. Go next. No, go back. Researchers in select. This is the number. This is useful. Again, it's just figures. Again, look at the US. Look at the year 2013. They had 1.26 million researchers. Germany, 360, and so on. These are figures, but they may not make sense because the population in the country is different. But nevertheless, it will give you an impression of the numbers. Kenya, 9,000. Now, compare yourself. America is 1.265 million researchers. Kenya is only 9,000. In terms of the new knowledge emerging globally, we can't compete. But I'll tell you later how we can do it. And it's something that I hope nobody... Is there an American in this room? Okay, then I feel safe. Next. I will tell you things. For selected countries, I think that is R&D expenditure. That is okay. Go on. That I have done. Now, when we talk about higher education, please, higher education transforms your life, all our lives. But higher education transforms our country, our continent, and the human race. And therefore, higher education is the one that, in my view, drives socio-economic development because of generating new knowledge, because of creating human technology, capacity, and so on, and it promotes innovations. There are two beneficiaries, key beneficiaries of research through, or which is undertaken by higher education institutions. One of them is the public sector, public stakeholder. The public stakeholder is all of us, all our country. But there is another one, private. And private is individuals who make profit, they start business, and so on. Industrialists. So there are two beneficiaries who benefit from research done by higher education. The public, the government, and we all are part of the government, but also the private sector, the industrialists. Next. What is the role of universities and TVETs and other institutions in development? And this is just a summary to ensure that natural resources are equitably shared, and that is very important. But most important, this one is not quite often mentioned. And when people mention it, they begin to say political. And that is, you need to generate, for institutions, you need to generate a cohesive society in which no one is left behind. That is extremely important, where there is no marginalization to say that this group is this group is that, and so forth. And that to me is extremely important. And a society in which you don't have very many gaps of development. That to me is what a role that our universities, TVETs, and so on should play. It is not just conferring knowledge and producing research, but what society are we creating? It must be cohesive, it must be peaceful, it must be a society in which nobody is left behind and no community is marginalized. Next. In addition to teaching, of course, I have mentioned that institutions of higher education also have moral responsibilities, and that I have indicated. The last bullet is an important one because I will mention it as I end my talk, and that is the attainment of specific SDGs, Sustainable Development Goals. That is not written correctly. It should be SDGs, Sustainable Development Goals, 17 of them. And one of my recommendations is that each of our institutions of higher learning should at least adopt an SDG and say, we as a TVET are going to focus on this SDG. You can't focus on everything in life. Next. Now this is what I am supposed to address. Reconfiguring higher education for development strategies. We need to integrate innovation and entrepreneurship programs in our, I'm saying university curricula, but it should be higher education institutions curricula. So that it is, whether you are teaching engineering, whatever you are teaching, please ensure you integrate innovation and entrepreneurship as a required course in that particular unit. The second one, which I think is very important, is there should be a way in which it's a multicultural. Where we are now, we are talking about multisectoral getting together. But I'm talking about multicultural environment through internships and community service programs. We have an obligation. A student graduates, a Kenyan student graduates, and they don't know where Marsabit is. By the way, how many of you have ever been, I know, I raise this very much. Can you raise your hand if you have ever been to Marsabit? You have, Micheka hasn't, but he didn't raise his hand. Did you know in Marsabit, you have a mountain? The place is, when I tell you Marsabit, you think dry, out there. There is a mountain. And on that mountain, the only one globally, on the mountain there is a lake. And that lake, paradise, the origin of man in Marsabit. Okay? So now please, next time, next year or the year after, when you want to go for a visit, okay, the road, the infrastructure will be okay. Drive all the way. It's the most beautiful place in this country. Then you go there, go to the lake and watch, and stand there and watch. You find people flying from across the world to come and spend the night. I don't know what we used to call it, but when you used to get married, you get married, and then the first night you call it what? Honeymoon. Oh, okay. Yeah, I think I was talking about honeymoon. She wasn't impressed. But you find people coming there to and so on and so forth to enjoy themselves. The next one is internationalization. Really, our institutions should begin to internationalize. And I call that the pull effect. We must think of not sending our people to study abroad, but bringing them on board. Next. By the way, initially I had been told I had 50 minutes to speak, but now the situation has changed and we must really understand. So I was told I must take only 30 minutes. So let me now complete. I will not deal with this because this is really so important, but please, I request you, all of us, try to look at chapter 11 of our Constitution, which talks about culture. And that article says that we must promote national and cultural expression through literature, art, science, libraries, and so forth. Then it says that the government of Kenya must recognize the role of science and indigenous technologies in development of the nation. This is not my words. This is in the Constitution. Please go and look at it. There are other clauses in the Constitution, please go next, which I would like for you to reflect on. Article 11, freedom of research, freedom of information and sharing information. That is Article 33 of our Constitution. By the way, it is the most innovative, the most creative constitution globally, because it really brings all these things together. And I think there is a role for higher education institutions to think about it. Freedom to receive information and freedom to be creative. They call it artistic creativity. To be creative. You are free to do it. Next. I think these articles you can look at, Article 43 up to 56. Next. Now, pay attention, please. When we project about the future, we ask ourselves, how is the future going to look like? And here we define the future, in my view, as just say 2030. How will it look like? Listen, and I'll read word for word. The working age population will begin to decline in the US, in the UK, and Canada by 2030. The population in Japan will shrink from 128 million to between 85 by 2027. The population is going down in those places. In Europe, the population will shrink by 7% and so forth. Now, look at the last bullet. The population of sub-Saharan Africa will increase. All the others are decreasing. Sub-Saharan Africa will be increasing. So that by 2030, we are 1.4, 1.5 billion. By the way, I'm beginning to see things happen. It could be 1.6, 1.7 as we move up. Next. "25% of the world's young people, 25 years and below. But in Kenya, we normally take youth as anybody 35 and below. Every 4 children born will be from Africa. This is a blessing, not a blessing in disguise, but the blessing in front of our eyes, that we are dealing with the potential source of talent which is needed globally. Therefore, our higher education institutions must think of their responsibility as a global responsibility. Next. This one is just for you to think about. They are saying 50% of all new jobs by 2030 will require at least a high school and so on, and scientific literacy, but that's okay. Next. Now, I propose as follows. Universities and TVETs should embrace collaborative initiatives between the institutions and industry. I don't need to read more. So that when you are teaching engineering, please, as you teach, Mutisia, ensure in KAIST, you also bring industrialists. Never assume because you are a professor, you know everything. Bring industrialists, engineers to also come and mentor your students. When you are doing research, let's begin to ask ourselves, you are not just developing new knowledge, but it's new knowledge for what? I believe we should establish national technology parks, and I think this was mentioned yesterday, but most important is incubation centers. And let us do it at the county levels. So that if there are young people who come up with ideas, don't dump them, don't throw them away. Listen to them. And when a young person comes and gives you an idea, engineer, don't just say, no, this doesn't work. You don't understand engineering. No, listen and tell him, you think it will work? Yes, okay. I'll give you the space. Show me it works. You'll be surprised. Next. Oh yeah, I think when I talked about the amount of money we spend in research, and I indicated that it was very low compared to other countries, when I mentioned in the US, the billions they are spending in research, the question is, where does it come from? It is not from the exchequer only. 50% of it comes from the private sector. Prof, you know, are you not in charge of research? Or is somebody else? Yeah. So do you understand what I'm saying? Yeah. It is not just writing proposals to government, no. Engage the private sector. Because in other countries, in Korea and so on, 50-60% comes from the private sector. And finally, in my view, and I may have mentioned this yesterday in passing, this sector called micro, small and medium enterprises, that is what is driving our economy forward. So let universities begin to engage with them and support them. Next. think this is okay. We have mentioned this. Next. Oh yeah. This I have mentioned: innovation and entrepreneurship, internship and community service, internationalization. I have mentioned. Next. This is summary. I'm just summarizing. I have mentioned about technical assistance to small businesses. And then, by the way, the fourth bullet is very important. I'll tell you why. We have been talking about universities engaging with county governments, universities engaging with the private sector. But what about universities engaging with TVETs and TVETs engaging with universities? This issue of competing, universities competing, is no more, in my view, as we move forward. Let's look at how the institutions can work together. The World Bank, way back in 1990, 93, up to 94, the World Bank came and said, you guys, I see the University of